corporations end up raising prices on things if they end up having a tax hike as well, right? He also believes that the American people are smart. They're invested in this. They're going to pay attention, and that they know that corporations do not need to raise the cost of goods in order to pay more taxes and pay more of their fair share.
No, the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Okay, that was White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying that you're smart, Mr. and Miss America. You're smart if you believe as she wants you to believe. And what she wants you to believe is that higher taxes on corporations will have absolutely no effect on you in the form of higher consumer prices. She is quoted elsewhere saying there's no evidence of higher corporate taxes leading to higher consumer prices. Now, I have to believe that Ms. Psaki has access to all types of information, considering her position as White House Press Secretary. If I've got it, then I know she's got it. The information that I have from the Cato Institute says that for every 1% increase in corporate taxes, that translates to a 0.17% increase in consumer prices. So, the Biden administration wants to raise corporate taxes from 21% to 28%. So that's a 7% increase. 7% times the 0.17 is over 1%. So we're looking at a greater than 1% increase in consumer prices based on the data that the Cato Institute has supplied. I'll link to this in the description. So we've got an increase there on top of the inflation that we're already seeing. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I was watching CNBC this morning. They said there's no inflation. We did a video about that and we showed you how that is a lie. That there are price increases across the board in all things that, we use every day. Oil, lumber, lithium, food. That we've linked to that video, so you can go back and watch it after you watch this one. But we are seeing those price increases, and now if these tax increases or operations are, enacted, then we are sure to see additional increases in prices at the pump, prices at the supermarket, prices at the clothing store, prices everywhere, okay? So it's very important that you realize a couple of things here. Number one, when the government says that, they want you to take a look at these tax increases on the rich and the corporations. These corporations, they need to do their fair share. These people, I worked in D.C., okay? I was a lobbyist for a corporation. I know how this works. These bureaucrats and politicians understand very well that corporations are just going to pass the tax increase on to you. But the way they couch it in terms of it being a tax on the rich, the evil rich, that allows them to tax you without taxing you. They just basically pawn it off on the corporations. They know the corporations are going to pass it off to you in the form of higher prices. But the politician is not going to, they're going to be real slick and sly about getting that money. They know where it's coming from in this consumer economy. Now, I've been over this ad nauseum. I love this country. I've been to several other countries, and I love this one. I love the U.S. I love the country. However, I am deeply suspicious of this government. The government lies. Let's just be real about it. And it doesn't matter. They've got folk into this Democrat-Republican kind of duopoly that causes a lot of people to miss this important point. These are oftentimes two sides of the same coin, all right? And governments have been telling half-truths and flat-out lies for a long time, especially where the economy is concerned. And it puts you at a disadvantage if you trust them, all right? So I want to break you out of that mode where, you listen to a newscast and you hear Janet Yellen, who is now the Secretary of the Treasury, say that there is no inflation. I want you to be smarter than that. And I want you to go and actually look at price increases year over year. And that way you'll be able to tell whether or not there is actual inflation that is affecting your personal economy, as opposed to the no inflation that someone like Janet Yellen is looking at. She's looking at some esoteric calculation that enables the government to be able to say there's no inflation when in fact there is. So I am encouraging you. Now, I'm not saying that you need to get where I am in terms of my level of distrust of this government, but I am saying that you definitely need to do a lot of due diligence before you absorb any of these numbers coming out of the government, okay? The other thing is the media. The media could do a much better job of informing. They do an excellent job of inflaming, but they don't inform. That's not their strong suit. I guess it doesn't engender ratings. So you've got to take with a grain of salt everything you see coming out of the media, and you've got to delve into these subjects, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. So you might be asking, well, look, if there is inflation, if I am going to see higher consumer prices, what can I do about it? Well, you need to make sure that when you are putting money away with the purpose of acting as an opportunity fund. Now, again, we talked about that opportunity fund being someplace where you can draw liquid cash from in order to meet an emergency situation or in order to buy you into an opportunity, okay? So we're looking at it from a positive standpoint. It's a reserve. That reserve of money needs to be getting a return that is higher than inflation. So we want to take it up to 3%. We got to get higher than 3% on that return. And then also with that money, we have to make sure that we are protecting it from excessive taxation. With the $30 trillion national debt at this point, you can bet your bottom dollar that taxes are going to go up. Not just on the rich, not just on the corporations. We just talked a moment ago how that higher corporate tax is actually going to be pawned off on the consumer, okay? So it all rolls downhill. You're going to get hit with that. At the end of the day, the middle class is the largest socioeconomic group out there in America today. So that's where the bulk of the money is, all right? Sure, you could take every dollar that Bill Gates and the billionaires have. You'd be able to run the country for maybe 6 months, if that. So they're going to keep coming to this well that is us, the middle class. Why? Because most middle class people work a W-2 job. They do not have access to the array of tax advantaged things that come out of that IRS code. All right, they don't have access to all those deductions and maneuvers like wealthy people who own businesses and derive their income from investments. W-2 people who are working 9 to 5s, they just don't have access to that. But there are ways that even the middle class can take advantage of things that are in the tax code and legally reduce taxation. So these are the things that you have got to worry about as we move forward into, the 2020s. We're going to see higher taxes and we're going to see prices continue to inflate. And if your money is not able to do those two things, and what I mean by that is beat inflation and then be protected legally from excessive taxation, then you are going to gradually become poorer at an accelerating rate. Okay, that's just the mathematics of it. So we talk a lot on this channel about ways that you can protect your money from taxes. And the HSA, or Health Savings Account, is one of those ways. The properly structured cash value life insurance policy is yet another one of those ways. There are a myriad of ways that you can accomplish those two goals. So we're going to be doing a lot more. Go back and watch some of the videos that we've done. There's a wealth of knowledge in there that where we really delve into these subjects. We're going to delve even further into a lot of these subjects and talk to you about ways to protect your assets from all of these slings and arrows out there that are conspiring to take money out of your pocket, okay, and send it somewhere else where you don't have control over it and it doesn't help you and your family. Okay, so just know that when you hear more about these tax increases on corporations, understand who ultimately pays that. It is not the evil corporation. It is you. Talk to you soon.